Welcome back to the January edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz, and I'm so glad that you are viewing us and listening to us in wherever you are right now. And I'm really happy to welcome a guest, a very special guest, Cynthia Knapek. Cynthia, thank you so much for being present here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let me tell our audience a little bit about you. Cynthia, first of all, is a great product of Catholic education. She went to St. Raphael grade school, elementary school here in town, and also to Assumption High School, and then went on to the University of Louisville to get both your bachelor's and master's degree. Cynthia, I know you and your husband Mark are members of Holy Trinity Parish, and you have two sons who are very active within the parish. One of the things that people may not know is that for now more than 20 years you've been deeply involved in the community here in Louisville, and we're very grateful for the way you've been involved. Let me just mention some of the things that are part of your background. Being involved, first of all, serving on the board of the Greater Louisville Incorporated, Metro Park Foundation, and of course now a member of our Catholic Education Foundation.
Yes.
What motivated you to get involved in so many aspects of leadership from your own background in Catholic education?
So I have been told that I was a pretty quiet child, like really painfully shy. And my mother has said that it wasn't until I got to Assumption that I kind of, came out of my shell, I guess. And I think in retrospect, what I look at that I got from Assumption, from Catholic education, is the foundation of why I choose to be active in the community and where my leadership skills come from. I think, one, you go to high school and everyone starts out with a clean slate, so that might have helped my confidence level a little bit. But
Plus,
also,
it's a large school.
Yeah, it is, So there's lots of opportunities there. And I think one of the things that I got from the beginning was just a lot of encouragement from the faculty, from the staff that's there. And the outcome is that the things I gained from Assumption are courage and confidence. When you get encouragement from someone, I think by definition what you're doing is you're kind of pouring courage into another person.
Yes.
So, I think the working on courage and confidence and launching from Assumption with those gifts, and probably the three most important things that you can do as a leader is have courage, have confidence, and then probably the third thing is compassion.
Yeah.
So those are the gifts that I got from Catholic education that I think are the reasons I serve.
What a great background. Pope, now he'll soon be canonized. He'll be soon St. John Paul II. He used to say, become who you are. And in some ways, I think that's the beauty of our faith, that Christ brings out of us what has been placed in us in our own creation. Unique, and we'll use our whole lifetime without uncovering the great gifts. Thank God for the gift of our faith that allows us to know, even within imperfections, we're able to still be great leaders, and that's true of all of us, isn't it? You got involved very much and have a very responsible position as executive director with Leadership Louisville. What attracted you to, and by the way, I'm a fan, as you know, of Leadership Louisville. What attracted you to become involved and accept a position as executive director?
At the Leadership Louisville Center, what we basically believe is that the city is what it is because the citizens are who they are. What that really means is that whatever we can imagine in terms of the great possibilities of our city, we can achieve those. But it requires an engaged and involved citizenry. So that's what the Leadership Louisville Center does, is it encourages people to roll up their sleeves and get involved in building a better place to live. Because if we don't have that, then we kind of just get what we get. And that's true not just for your city, but for your church, for whatever organization you're involved in. It requires people to jump in and take an ownership of the future of the organization.
There's a need to give back, isn't there?
Yes.
I mean, if people have been blessed through their families, through their education, through their own gifts that God has given them, it's important that they give back. I see that very much involved with with the gift of our faith, because so often we forget that faith enriches public life, that in other words, our faith should make us good citizens. And I see Leadership Louisville as doing that so much. One of the things that I loved was when I first got involved, I actually got involved in Leadership Knoxville.
Yes.
In Tennessee, was the big idea was servant leadership. And I remember saying, well, I know that. That's what Jesus talked about 2,000 years ago. That's a very key part, isn't it, of Leadership Louisville, of what it means to be a servant leader.
That's absolutely our mission, is really to talk to people about the idea that leadership is not simply about running your company, but leadership it's not about you. It's always about somebody else. It's always about that capacity to serve others. We talk in terms of serving the greater good. Do the things that help us, that help move the greater good forward. And so, every program that we do, and we do 4 different programs, they do it in a little bit different way. So depending on the level of commitment that you're willing to make at that time, whether you can start out small or whether you really want to dive into being a servant leader, we structure our different programs so that people have the right level of capacity to give back.
There's kind of a nice thing about the network that occurs with Leadership Louisville is a network based on service. And I like that because our Catholic social teaching, of course, is so strong on this whole notion of the common good. And yet, it has to be very practical, doesn't it, on how we get to know what other people are doing in the community so we can genuinely serve together and contribute, not just kind of promote even our own good agencies or good businesses, et cetera. So that's great. Well, it's a wonderful gift that you have. One of the things that I was really happy about is so often one of our priests or someone who works with the Archdiocese gets invited to be involved, and I love that because we should be good citizens. That's something that I guess is become, I hope, something part of every year, I hope.
Yes, we love the partnership that we have with the Archdiocese. We hope it's a nice 50-50 equation because I think there is a great advantage to having people come into the classes. So each class is a real diversity of the population. So you've got doctors, you've got lawyers, you've got priests, you've got people who are neighborhood leaders, and having those folks in the class that represent a religious background really helps us have a class that's representative of our whole community.
No, that's great. And it's also very good that we're able to contribute and be part of that community. We're going to put Leadership Louisville's name and some information so people can go to your website. But the time goes by terribly quickly.
Yes.
However, I want to thank you, Cynthia, for being part of this gathering here in January, and also wish you the very best for your family as well as for the wonderful work you do with Leadership Louisville.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to serve.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank all of you for being part of Conversations, and please stay with us as we now return for segment 3 of the January edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz.